In Italy, nearly 800 people have died within the past 24 hours, bringing the total of deaths there to 4,825. A lockdown to limit the spread has been in place for weeks, but now tougher measures have been introduced in the worsted area, Lombardy, with a regional president announcing that from tomorrow all sport and physical activity outside, even alone, will be banned. Sima Katecha is in Rome for us tonight. Sima.
Yes, more alarming figures coming out of Italy. And as you say, further stringent measures will be enforced tomorrow in the worst affected areas. Now, the hospitals in the north are suffering the most, with some running out of ventilators and face masks. And the children here are also feeling the impact of this outbreak too.
No children, just empty playgrounds in Rome's largest park. Even tougher rules that have come into force today say people can't go into them to try and curb the outbreak. Here for several weeks, schools have already been closed.
The only noises that you can hear are the bells, the church bells, which is nice, but the other noise is the ambulances. That's all, the only two noises that you hear.
In Lombardy, the worst affected region, teachers say some children felt lost without social contact, but virtual lessons are helping.
To begin with, they were scared, I think, of their reality being taken away from them. Being able to actually deliver reality through a computer, even if he's obviously on a completely different scale, has been particularly important.
From tomorrow, people in Lombardy will no longer be allowed to exercise, even on their own, in open spaces, as part of the measures aimed at slowing down the spread of the virus. All vending machines will also be banned.
Aurelio, how do you feel about the coronavirus? Thumbs down?
Yeah.
Thumbs down.
One parent in Rome tells us she's worried about the psychological impact the outbreak will have on the young.
He is having a little bit of nightmares, though.
He's having nightmares?
Yeah. I don't know if it's connected, but he's having nightmares about spiders most nights. He says he's not worried because he's brave.
You're brave. Well, that's fantastic. You seem very brave and you look very brave.
Nobody has lived through times like this before. The spaces may be smaller, but as ever, everybody is learning to adapt. Sima Katecha, BBC News, Rome.
The number of deaths from coronavirus in Spain has jumped to 1,326 in the country's biggest one-day rise so far. It overtook Iran as the world's third worst coronavirus-stricken country yesterday after China and Italy. The number of registered cases in the country has risen to nearly 25,000. The US athletics governing body has added to the growing number of calls for this summer's Olympics in Tokyo to be postponed because of the virus. The federation's chief executive said in a letter that holding the Games in the current global situation would not be in the best interest of athletes. The husband of a British woman who died after testing positive for the coronavirus whilst on holiday in Bali has spoken for the first time of the devastation of his loss. Kimberly Finlayson, who was 52, had underlying health conditions and had undergone 2 emergency operations in an Indonesian government hospital. Mr. Finlayson said perhaps the outcome for his wife might have been different if she'd been treated in the UK. Our correspondent Jeremy Cook reports.
Myself and my 4 children are absolutely devastated to lose the most beautiful wife and mother. She's so generous. She's so full of life. She's so powerful, courageous, supportive of all of us. I've lost half of myself.
In the holiday hotel room in Bali he should be sharing with his wife, Ken Finlayson is alone, grieving.
She actually booked this hotel, but she never managed to get here.
52-year-old Kimberly fell ill soon after arriving from the UK. She had diabetes, but had been in good health.
This phrase, underlying health issues, has come into our language over the really difficult past 10 days or so.
The irony of that phrase to me is that I don't know many people in their 50s that haven't received medication, haven't had some health issues.
Ken is warning other British travellers that healthcare in less developed countries is not the same as back home. He watched Kimberly die in a government hospital during surgery.
She said that she loved me. And, you know, we exchanged that for a few minutes and, you know, looked into one another's eyes. You know, so we had that time to do that. And, you know, I'm at peace in that sense. And hopefully Kimberly is.
Even in his grief, Ken's thoughts are with other British families who may also lose loved ones to COVID-19.
You need to be strong for your family and the memory of your loved one who died in such tragic circumstances.
Ken has tested negative for the virus but is still unable to get back to the UK. His strength comes from his family and from the memory of the wife whose life he shared for 32 years.
My wife was the most incredibly generous, loving mum.
Ken Williamson ending that report from our correspondent Jeremy Cook.